So we've got a Euro 6 DAF CF MX-11 to have a look at today. Fuel system faults apparently. Goes up a hill, the light comes on. Somebody's had a look at it, they've changed some parts, still haven't fixed it, so I've been called in to sort this out. Right. What have we got on the dash this morning? Nothing. Other than brake lining wear. So there's no active warnings on the dash at the moment, but what we'll do now is we'll get gel test from Eclipse Diagnostics plugged in, have a look on there and see what faults are on there, including the engine protection fault. So we'll do auto VIN identification as usual. We'll obtain the VIN automatically. This is MX-11 Euro 6, so we want that one, not the 2017 onwards. And apparently it's an engine fault, so we'll just go straight into engine, into PCI, connect to the ECU now, see what we've got. I'm guessing P0094. So we've got a fault code reading. So we've got a couple of faults here really. P0094 and P228D, they kind of go hand in hand with each other. Two I wasn't expecting was P228DF and P229D. And as you can see, our P1496 engine protection mode active has happened 115 times. So what we'll do now is we'll run a fuel system health check on this now, see what the correctional value is. So we'll go to system checks, we'll go to high pressure circuit, return on the fuel injectors, and we can have a laugh, can't we? Hopefully I've warmed this up enough now. Let's press continue. All cylinders are working. She's warm enough. We can run this test. This should now tell us that we've got 60 seconds to start the engine. Let's go start the engine. So we'll get this cranking now, get it started, and then we'll look at the correctional value on gel test. Well, the test's running, but I certainly wasn't expecting to see this figure. It's correcting at 100%. Well, that was immense, wasn't it? 100%. So what we'll do now is individual unit pump tests, I think, because 100% is ridiculous. So, pump unit test. We don't need any of this information because we just want to run the test, or more so see if the truck actually runs on pump unit 1 or pump unit 2. So we'll select pump unit 1 here now. Yes, all our conditions are met, so we'll just press start the test and we'll see what happens this time. Well, she's running the test on pump unit 1. That's always a good sign. Fingers crossed it runs on pump unit 2 as well, but I don't think it will. Only a 1600 bar difference in fuel pressure from the requested and the actual. So we've done pump unit 1. It ran on pump unit 1. Now we'll see if it does pump unit 2. So we'll isolate pump unit 2. We'll press continue. So we've selected pump unit 2 this time. We'll go and start the truck, if it will start. Let's find out. So the truck started on pump unit 2 as well. Isn't this a turnout for the books? So it runs on both pumping units, but it's got 100% correctional value. I'm afraid we're going to have to go to fuel system leak off test. So I'm going to get the cab over now. We're going to have to be a bit more invasive. We're going to have to check the fuel pressure from the fuel pressure control valve, and we're going to have to check the return from the fuel injectors in the back of the head as well. So what have we had done to our fuel system today? Well, it's got a new fuel pressure control valve. We'll have to check that to see if that's been calibrated. Doesn't look like it's had any injector pipes. Someone's left a spanner down there. So now we've got our pressure measuring kit all set up on the head. We'll run this injector leak off test again and check for quantities on the fuel pressure control valve and on the injectors. So it looks like our fuel pressure control valve just did 600 mil. It should be doing under 30, I think, on gel test, but we'll check this. But yeah, 600 mil out of a fuel pressure control valve. I think we'll try and reset it first and then run this test again. So we'll get out of system checks now, go into calibration, and we'll calibrate the fuel pressure control valve. So into calibration, rail pressure control valve. Yes, I've accepted the terms and conditions. It's been replaced. I just don't know if it's ever been calibrated. So we'll perform this reset now. We'll hear a noise from the engine when it's completed, and we'll run this test again, I think. So we've reset our fuel pressure control valve now. We'll run the return on the fuel injectors again on joule test, and we'll see if we're getting 600 mils out of the return on the fuel pressure control valve, or if it's actually under 30 mils as it should be now. Getting some steps in today, I'm telling you. Well, it looks like we're going to have to take the fuel rail off now, so back to the truck. Let's get some tools out the van, get this sorted. So, crack this off. Wasn't even tight. Look, it wasn't even tight. That's why that's fucking leaking. We're doing it up. Look at this. I'm putting pressure on this and it's going round. That's why it wasn't working. So, looks like we're not taking the fuel rail off after all. We'll get this plug back in the fuel pressure control valve. Now it's tight, and we'll continue our testing. As you've just seen, the fuel pressure control valve was actually loose on the fuel rail. So I've tightened it back up, and now what we'll do is run the fuel leak off test now and see what happens. So it would appear tightening the fuel pressure control valve actually fixes fuel rail issues. Who would have thought? So with our fault codes now cleared, the customer can put a skip on this, take it up the road, and we'll get off to our next job, I think. So we've got a DAF CF Euro 6 to have a look at today. The customer's reported that the head gasket's blown. He's changed the compressor head gasket, but he doesn't know if it's the head gasket or not. So what we'll do now is use this little test and see if it changes colour. So we'll pull the header tank cap off now, and what we'll do is we'll get this plugged in. Now, this fluid is blue, and if there's any CO2 being released from combustion into the coolant, this will change colour to green or yellow, I think it is. We'll have to run the engine at a slightly higher RPM than idle. Put 20 mils of this into this elbow here. We'll put it in the header tank and we'll see if it changes colour from combustion. So we've got the correct quantity of fluid in here now. We'll put this in the header tank and we'll go and start the truck. So now this has changed yellow. That means that our combustion gases are getting into our coolant system. So unfortunately for this customer, he's now going to have to do the head gasket on this. Well, I hope you've enjoyed a few jobs from this week. Nice little test for head gasket failure. Don't get me wrong, you couldn't keep the cap on the coolant system from pressure. But as you know, internal combustion gives off carbon dioxide, which is CO2, hydrocarbons, which is our HC, and nitrogen oxides, which is our NOx levels. Hence the colour change of the fluid. If it was just pressure in the coolant system from, say, a failed compressor head gasket, well, all the compressor does is compress oxygen, which is O2. So it would have stayed blue, wouldn't it? As for our fuel pressure control valve, what can I say? It's a solenoid valve. The outer body rotates, hence why once I tightened it up, I rotated the outer body to the correct position to get the plug on the harness. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. 3 weeks of me showing up consistently. Whatever next. As always, if you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like as it really helps the channel. Subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I'll catch you next time.